did I do?
It's what you all been waiting for, ain't it?
Alright guys, we've been waiting to do this for quite some time. We got the carbon fiber hood in from Anderson Composites, and it is looking gorgeous. But it's going to be looking even gorgeous-er because we are going to be throwing on these GT4 Mustang hood vents, real dry carbon hood vents right off the GT4 Mustang. So get ready, because we're going to be chopping up a brand new carbon fiber hood. Alright guys, so the first thing we need to do is get this stock hood out of the way. I've already started removing the window washer fluid reservoir spray thingy thing. So just have to disconnect that from the actual sprayers. And then we can take off the shocks and then unbolt the hood and get it off, box it up, put it away. Alright, I just thought I'd show you guys how to remove this real quick because it's kind of a pain in the butt if you don't know how. This little black fitting on here, if you turn this towards you, and then you see that little groove, once you see that, then you can just slip it right out. Drop her through the hole. Keep the back supported though, off so it don't hit the fender. You can see this is kind of adjustable here, so this might take a little persuading. Alright guys, we got the hood mounted. It is looking good. Body lines are looking good. God, this hood is so gorgeous. So sweet. So now the time has come to whip out the grinder and the Dremel and anything else that might cut carbon fiber and go to town on a brand new carbon fiber hood. But I assure you that after we measure about 38 times, we're going to get this right.
39.
39? You want to go for 39? All right, we're going to measure it 39 times just to make sure that we have this right, because there aren't going to be any second chances here. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with the center vent install. Since basically the factory hood vent there kind of dictates where this thing's going to go. And then before we go on to tackle the side vents, we are going to install the hood pins because those are going to come real close to where I want to put the side vents. So I want to make sure those are in the right place. And then we'll go on to setting up where we want the side vents and then measuring and cutting. So I'm going to basically tape off the hood in this area where the center vent is. And then that way I'm not, don't have to worry about scratching anything when I cut this thing. All right, so I've lined it up about 100 times and I am ready to make my first cuts. Like I said, the factory hood vent and the indentation here kind of dictates where this center vent is going to go. So as far as the outside lines here, we're just going to follow this body line all the way around. And that'll give us a perfect kind of template to cut. And then I have this red line here as kind of like a safety line. If I cut right up to this red line, I know I have still plenty of material left, that the vent is going to cover the whole entire hole that'll be here. And likely I'll have to take a little bit more out, or I know I'll have to take a little bit more out. That's why I call it a safety line, because you don't want to cut too much. It's okay if you don't cut enough. You can always cut a little more, but you can't put material back. So getting ready to start cutting. Gonna cross my fingers, pray to the car gods, all that stuff, and here we go, guys. All right, so I'm gonna try first and see if this Dremel will do the job. I'm sure it'll cut it, but it may take way too long. So We'll see if this thing is up to the task. If not, we'll whip out something stronger. Yeah, this is cutting it perfectly, so this will work well. Carbon is really bad to breathe in, so make sure if you guys are cutting with this stuff that you wear a respirator. Alright, so there ain't no turning back now. So now we just got to try to get this big chunk of carbon out of there and then see how much of the skeleton underneath we'll have to trim, and then start trying to fit that center vent in there. Alright, so now on the underside you can kind of see where we're going to have to cut the skeleton out. So you can see where the light's coming through, so we're going to have to chop straight through there, and then one more of them down to this one, and then the same thing on the other side, straight through there, and then there is some epoxy holding it onto there a little bit. I don't think that should actually be too much trouble. Maybe this last little bit down here I might have to cut out with a razor blade, but other than that, that should do it. Just try to keep it as clean as possible, following this line here and that line there, and we are good to go. And in all honesty, by the time we start tackling the side vents, we may have a whole area of this skeleton removed, but I want to try to remove the least amount of skeleton as possible to keep as much structure to the hood as possible. But again, race car, the hood will always be down and then latched with hood pins, so I'm not too worried about the flimsiness of the hood, but still, if I can keep it as strong as possible, I'm going to do so. So let's start cutting this underside. If my calculations are correct, this hole should still need to be bigger. It's almost a perfect fit already. Alright, so it actually fits better than I thought after just the initial cut. I mean, we pretty much landed on the moon right there. And then the sides are going to work out just fine, just the way they are. I don't even think I'd have to trim anymore. And then, just like I did with this line here, you can see where we just barely went a little too far, or I'm sorry, not far enough the way we set up, and that's what we did intentionally. So we just have to pull it back just a hair past this line here instead of that line. So, you know, maybe about a 1/16 of an inch. And she's in there. So that is one down, two to go, and then we still got the hood pins. Alright, so these are the hood pins that we're going to be using. Arrow catch. These are the same exact hood pins that you see on the GT4 Mustang and the FP350S, so we're just continuing with that same trend. And then just like on the FP350S and GT4 Mustang, they utilize these factory holes right here. So we're going to set these in there. And then basically what we're going to do is, is use some lithium grease or something that we can put on top of here on each one, and then we'll close the hood, and then that'll leave a little bit of the grease on the hood exactly where you want to drill for the pin to come through. Drill that spot. Alright, so we got a mark on both of them. So here we go. Another moment of truth. That one only had to go through the outer layer. So now when we close this, we should see the pins through the top. Or we're screwed. Yep, see that one right there? Yep, looks perfect. So now we can open these holes up. Alright, got them all marked out. We can take these bad boys off. Alright, now for another scary part. Alright, so we got the top cut on this one. And it's a nice snug fit in there. Now we just have to trim out the bottom, which I kind of already marked from the top. So let's get that bottom trimmed out. Alright, there we are. Both hood pins are installed and looking good. Show you how it opens real quick. Nice and smooth. And that's how the inside came out. Still going to clean up the cuts a little bit, but again, we don't know how far we're going to end up going once we do the side vents in here, so left those cuts kind of minimal for now.
So we're trying to line up the vents right now.
No, we're not. We're trying to find my measuring tape.
He's trying to find his tool.
There it is. Okay, so if we start with a consistency of the distance between the parallax of 0.1 on the venting. So right there we're at a 4-inch distance. Alright, so we got one marked up, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous to make this cut. See, the thing is we have to exactly copy that for the other side, so this, you know, got one shot at this. But nevertheless, here it goes. Alright, first side vent is cut, and just like planned, it's still a little tight because we left, you know, a little room, a little wiggle room. So it doesn't quite drop all the way in just yet, but we just got to do a little tiny bit of trimming, and then it'll drop right in there. So far so good. Alright, ready to cut the final vent. Basically what I did here is I kind of made like a little tape template from this side, and that's kind of my main goal, was to match this here. That way we get the same distance between the hood pin and the vent on the other side, and it also kind of helped us get the vent in the exact same spot overall, so should work out pretty well. I'm ready to cut it. Alright guys, so all the main cuts are done. I do need to go back and kind of just slightly open up this one a little bit so it fits a little bit better. But I am exhausted, still need to work tonight. So all that I have left to do tomorrow morning is drill all the holes, slightly open this one up a little bit, and then drill all these holes out, put the nuts and bolts on there, and then I can clean it up and pull it outside so we can see what it looks like. But I can already tell it looks freaking amazing. I'm in love. I'll probably come out to the garage like 300 or 400 times tonight and look at this. So yeah, I will see you in the morning. Alright guys, she's all done. Looking sick. So yeah, I didn't film that last part. My battery died on me again. But basically, you guys saw the completed process. The only thing I did that I didn't film here was clean up the cuts a little bit, as I said in that last part. And then just drilled out the 30 holes and put the screws and nuts and washers on, and that's it. It's all done. So now, yeah, we just got to take it outside and clean up all this carbon fiber dust off of her, and then let you guys see it out in the open. But let me know what you guys think. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. That looks incredible. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think. Install is done. I'm loving the way it looks. Probably have to polish it out a little bit. I got a lot of surface scratches on it, which is understandable doing what I did to this thing. But I just want to go ahead and say big shout out to Anderson Composites. They came on board to sponsor the channel, sponsor the build. And I definitely would not have been able to get this done without them. I would have been hacking up my stock hood, which I did not want to do, and we saved some weight. So again, big shout out to Anderson Composites for sponsoring the channel, sponsoring the build. And I do have a discount code for you guys I'll put down below. You can save yourself 20% off anything they have in stock. So again, big shout out to Anderson Composites. Thanks for coming on board. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think. I'm in love. Everything worked out perfectly. Everything fits perfectly. The only thing I will say, these things are all pre-drilled, and I think it could utilize an extra bolt or two here or there. It doesn't sit exactly flush right there. There's a lot of distance between those two bolts, so maybe add a bolt or two here or there. I realized that I did need to add a bolt here, and I didn't want to do that because I wanted to stay true to the, to the GT4 cars. But actually, after I realized I had to add this bolt here, I was looking at some photos of GT4s, and it seems like they did the exact same thing on all the race cars. So I think that just has to happen to keep the structure there. That's right where the hood pins are. So without that bolt there, you get a little bit of stress right here, and it'll just create a little bit of a gap there. So other than that, guys, I might add a screw or two. I was even considering maybe when I take them back off, doing some double-sided tape around the whole thing just to keep it nice and flush to the hood. But again, other than that, everything came out 100% perfect, and I'm super happy with it. And then I don't know if I really mentioned it much yet on the channel, guys, but we are going to be throwing it down at Ford Fest and SCCA Time Trial Nationals at NCM Motorsports Park at the end of this month. So we're going to be an unlimited class. We're going to be taking a whole bunch of weight out of this car. We still have some other things I'm going to be doing to get it ready before the end of the month. So we should have, at least 2-3 videos leading up to that. And then a big event coming up at the end of the month that I'm really hoping to do well in. So got a lot of cool stuff planned for this month alone, and still the GT500 to come. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, bell notification, and I will see you next time.